What's up, guys? It's Mion. I am back with another video, and it is time for my 2023 NASCAR Cup Series playoff predictions. The grid is set. 16 drivers will be whittled down to 4 over these final 10 races to determine the champion. And it's a very interesting playoff grid in terms of drivers that did make it and those who didn't. And so, let's go ahead. Let's take a look. With that being said, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you do not miss out on future videos and streams. I would really appreciate it. And let's go ahead and let's jump into the predictions. So, your playoff grid in order based on points. Of course, everybody's reset to 2,000 points plus bonus points earned from playoff points as well as finishing, I believe, in the top 10 in overall points in the regular season or what have you. Your standings go as follows: William Byron, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Chris Buescher, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain, Brad Keselowski, Tyler Reddick, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, Michael McDowell, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Kevin Harvick, and Bubba Wallace. So, of course, no Chase Elliott, no Alex Bowman, no Chase Briscoe, no Austin Cindric. There's a couple other ones I'm not thinking of at the moment. But we saw 6 drivers. Oh yeah, Suarez was one of them. Can't remember who the other one was. But we have 6 drivers in these playoffs last year that did not make it this year. Buescher's here. Keselowski's here. Bubba's here for the first time. Stenhouse is here. And then Truex, of course, is here, winning the regular season title after not making the playoffs last year. So, let's get into the first round. Darlington, Kansas, and Bristol. And Darlington is the race. Being that it opens the first round, it opens the playoffs in general, is always the race that shakes the field up the most. Like, I think, honestly, the opening race of the playoffs shakes up the field more than the wild card races in the second round, being Talladega and the ROVAL. And this year should be no different. However, I think we're going to get to see Brad Keselowski finally go back to victory lane. This past weekend, he helped his teammate Chris Buescher to win at Daytona, preventing a new winner and also allowing Bubba Wallace to make the playoffs on points. And I think Keselowski will be benefited with his first W in a few years, and adding to the success that Chris Buescher has provided for RFK this season. And he locked himself into the next round, being about middle of the pack in points. Then we go to Kansas. And I think that as long as mistakes are avoided and the car is fast enough and the driver doesn't make mistakes, Bubba Wallace will go back to victory lane. He wins at Kansas, repeating what he did last year here, and also going off of how well he ran here back in the spring. And he punches his ticket to the second round from the 16th seed entering. So, wherever he ends up in points after Darlington, winning Kansas is going to shake things up a huge deal. And then you go into Bristol. Now, guys like Byron, Truex Jr., Hamlin, Buescher, Busch, you could probably argue Larson as well. Really, the top 6 in points entering these playoffs, barring any catastrophes in the first 2 races, should be going into Bristol looking pretty freaking good. It's really everybody else that, unless you won, that this matters to in terms of this race and making the next round. I'm going to get it out of the way now. I don't think Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is getting out of the first round. I absolutely don't. But he's really the only lock to be eliminated in round 1. McDowell is not a lock, in my opinion. But I think going into Bristol, Kyle Busch gets himself another victory for RCR, punches his ticket to the next round, and the 4 drivers eliminated are Stenhouse Jr., Ryan Blaney, Tyler Reddick, and Christopher Bell. And I think for Bell, Reddick, and Blaney, the common denominator here is consistency. I think in Bell's case, Joe Gibbs Racing will probably put more focus on Hamlin and Truex Jr.'s cars than they will him. And I think he'll do well in the first round. I think his best shot to win would probably be Kansas. Um, but I think Bell gets eliminated. It's going to be close. I think it's going to come down to a really close points battle between like him, McDowell, Chastain, guys like that. Um, but in the end, Bell gets eliminated. For Reddick, I think like Bell, he has a pretty good shot to win Kansas. I also think Reddick could win Darlington, but if he doesn't win either one of those races, I don't have a ton of confidence going into Bristol. I think he's all right there, but whatever points hole he might be in, he's gonna have to do a lot to get out of it, and I'm not sure he will. Oh, it just popped in my head. Almirola was the other one that made the playoffs last year that didn't make it this year. Now that I think about it. Um, and then for Blaney again, just consistency issues, especially with Ford. Um, I know that's ironic to say considering you have Keselowski, who's a Ford driver, winning in the first round, but with Penske, you just never know. So now we get into the round of 12, the wild card round, Texas, Talladega, and Charlotte. And I think we open this up with Kevin Harvick in his swan, swan song season. There we go. Um, getting the win at Texas. A huge win, his first win of 2023, and it locks him into the next round because again, he's entering the playoffs low on points. I think he only has like one bonus point to his name. So for Harvick, he's got a lot of work to do in round one. And I think he can. And if he can get to the second round, I absolutely believe he has a shot to win. Then we go to Talladega, and this might be the stereotypical pick, but bite me. Ryan Blaney, because chaos. And he's also not in the playoffs anymore, so why not? It just feels like the Ryan Blaney thing to do. So then we go to the then we go to the Charlotte Roval, and I think Martin Truex Jr. gets back to victory lane on a road course, punching his ticket to the next round, which means two of the three races are won by playoff drivers. And with that in mind, I think that the four drivers getting eliminated in the round of 12 will be Michael McDowell, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, and Denny Hamlin. I think McDowell and Wallace are kind of self-explanatory. If they both get out of the first round, and obviously I had Wallace winning, uh, the second round being the ultimate wild card, you have to survive, get stage points, even playoff points as well, and basically just stay out of everybody else's way and not get into a wreck or something. And with Talladega, I'm just not sure. Now, Bo Wallace has won there before, and he runs really freaking good at super speedways. But then the very next race is a road course, which he's been getting better at, but it's still a road course. And um, yeah, I if he can survive Talladega, that's great. But going straight into the Roval, I don't know, man. And then you have Hamlin and Chastain. Ironic that I have them getting eliminated at the same time when both of them have been rivals since last year. I think Chastain's problem, and honestly, if you have him getting knocked out in the first round, I wouldn't blame you because Chastain's issue is ever since he had that talk with Rick Hendrick and whatever it was that happened. I know Chastain has said he's been trying to make himself a better driver since then, but it really feels like he's lost a lot of his swagger, a lot of his attitude on the racetrack. And I get it. Being as aggressive as he's been has pissed off a lot of people, but now it's almost like he's been quite conservative and he just has not been able to get back to leading a lot and winning like he was doing last year. Um, and I think that's going to come back to bite him. And then Denny Hamlin, yes, he's entering the playoffs, third in points. Yes, he was battling for the regular season title at the very end. However, I think he just falls right the fuck off this round. And it's going to be another failure for him. No championship. What you going to do, man? What the fuck are you going to do? So then we go to the round of 8. Vegas, Homestead, Martinsville. Going into Vegas, I think Vegas native Kyle Busch gets another playoff victory and punches himself to the final into the final 4. I think William Byron will grab the win at Homestead because he's cruising off of the amount of bonus points he has and his speed and consistency in getting stage and playoff points. But I think he'll go into Homestead, grab the win, which then leads us to Martinsville, where I do believe Denny Hamlin will get some revenge and win the final race of the third round. Meaning that he's out of the playoffs, that means you have 2 winners with 2 spots left open for the final 4. Joining Kyle Busch and William Byron are going to be Martin Truex Jr. and Kevin Harvick. Because honestly, I think if Harvick gets out of the first round and he wins at Texas in the second round, regardless of what happens at Texas in the ROVAL, I think this third round it's going to really ignite something in him because it is his final season. And I can see him getting out of here. I could see him winning either Vegas or Homestead, to be honest. So that means Buescher, Larson, Keselowski, and Logano get eliminated. I think Logano at this point, the way his season has gone, he's just going to find a way to sneak his way into the final 8 to try and get back to the final 4 and defend his title. But I think he's just going to come up way short. His former teammate, Keselowski, for both him and Buescher, it will be one hell of a run for RFK. But I think it comes to an end here. I do feel like Buescher has a good chance to win, probably at Vegas. But at the end of the day, RFK is gonna have a hell of a season. They're both gonna come up just short of a Final Four spot, but it's nothing to hang your head on. And then for Kyle Larson, I just think his teammate wins a race. He goes into Martinsville and just struggles early, and it's going to cost him in the end. Knowing that the short track package still needs a lot of work is not going to do him any favors. So, with that said, we now get to the final 4. Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., William Byron, Kyle Busch. And call me crazy, but after everything that's happened this year with Ford and with Stewart-Haas Racing, Kevin Harvick enters these playoffs. He survives the first round. He wins at Texas and then lights a fire under his own ass to get through the round of 8, get to the final 4 somehow, some way. And I think in the end, it will all pay off as Kevin Harvick, to make up for 2020, to make up for only having one title to his name, gets a second Cup Series title. And he goes out on top. I know that's not something that happens very often, but I could very well see it. I think if they can just get his shit together, absolutely Kevin Harvick could do it. And then the final 4 finishing order would be Martin Truex Jr. second, William Byron third, and Kyle Busch in fourth. In terms of the final 4 standings, not necessarily in terms of finishing position predicted, but Kevin Harvick is my championship pick for 2023. I will laugh my ass off if this comes true. I will not be surprised if this bites me in the ass. But I truly do believe he can get it done. The question is, will he? With all that being said, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.